Sorry about the delayed open there, Terry Hollywood. Hey, just trying to get caught up on some last minute changes.
Yeah.
Today, track's kind of sloppy, some scratches going on. My picks are a little bit mixed up. Had to run back through them to get them correct. But in any case, we're here a couple minutes late. I'm actually surprised we're only 3 minutes late. How long before the first race at Aqueduct, Terry?
About 45 minutes.
So we have a little bit of time then.
Yeah.
So did you get a chance last night to watch the show with Trevor and Katie McCarthy on Horse Center?
I did. It was really a good show. Yeah. Absolutely.
The opportunity to meet Baby Riley.
Yep. It was fun.
The next absolute super jockey, right?
That's right.
And you know what's funny, Terry, is yesterday I had a what I would call a Homer Simpson or a Bart Simpson moment, because I had on Trevor McCarthy, who has a bunch of races today at Aqueduct, and looking at those races, Terry, all those races at Aqueduct, I forgot to ask him if he had a single mount today. I mean, or if not that if he had a single mount, but did he have any horses in there, Jay, that Terry, that were horses that he felt really strongly about today?
Yeah, I know. It would have been nice to see if he had any ones. That would have been a great thing to ask about.
Yeah, I just completely forgot that. Right?
Well, we're all human.
One more smack to the head for me, Terry, just to loosen up those brain cells a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, today we're going to head off to Aqueduct. Last time we were at Aqueduct, last Thursday, it didn't play out that way, but it was one of those days where if you had, as you mentioned, if you had singled my first pick in the first race and then just boxed the next four, that was a $39,000 pick five.
That's
then a $29,000 pick four, because a couple of those back end picks were pretty high prices.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Terry, let's see, I won the battle of the best bets, but I won the battle, you won the war, because you got that last pick in. And I had a series of 50-50s yesterday, Terry, that cost me, that I picked wrong on both ends.
Yeah, that's true.
The 6 and 7 on that back end, I put in my notes. It was a tough call between them. And then the Twirling Candy, the horse that Tom had talked about. I don't know if you watched that race, Terry, with Twirling Candy when the 3 won. It won that race on the turn.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. Yeah. Took that turn really nice.
When they took that turn, there was a bunch of horses there that were all like close proximity to each other. And then when it cut that corner like that, it ended up going from, basically a head or a half a length ahead of everybody else. And when they came out of that turn in that next 5 or 6 strides, it was a good maybe 2 horses ahead of everybody else. So that race was won right on the turn there. You could see the jockey won that race.
Yeah, you're true. It's true. I was hoping, no offense, but I was hoping that your best bet of the best bet of the day was going to lose, and that 5 was going to pass it. And if I did pass it for just a moment, and then of course yours came back to pull away, but that would have been a lot better pick 4 for me. But pick 4 paid $250, about $250, so that's okay.
Would have been better if the 5 had won that last leg, because then we would have had it both. And it would have been twice. Yeah. So it would have been like about a 50% improvement. But again, it's one of those things where I had a 50-50 pick and I picked the wrong one on the 4th pick. So that's the way it goes sometimes. It's horse racing, right?
It is. Yeah, you're right about that.
So let's see if we can have another $29,000 day. Again, it's kind of sloppy over there. So I kind of adjusted my picks a little bit after the fact when I went back and looked at them. And one of the reasons why I was a little bit delayed today is because I wanted to make some adjustments for the off track, because it is labeled sloppy now and not just for the fast track. So hopefully I didn't take those 50-50s again, Terry, and turn them against me again.
Well, I hope not.
So race number 1, Terry, hold on one second. I got to do something real quick, because I forgot to put something somewhere. So let me make sure I get that in the right place. 2 things I forgot to put in the right place, Terry, today. So this one has to come down here. Otherwise, I won't be able to see it. And then this one has to come down here. Otherwise, I won't be able to see it either. So race number 1, Terry, is – hold on a second. I'm all mixed up today with the way things are, Terry. I apologize, folks. Forgive me for this wonderful TV that you're experiencing right now. So let me just put that right here. All right, there we go. Race number 1, Terry, 7 furlongs on the main track. All the races in the wintertime are, I think, on the main track at Aqueduct. 7 furlongs, maiden claiming $50,000, a purse of $48,000, Terry, for maidens, fillies, 3 years old, and no up. So just 3-year-olds that haven't gotten their first win yet, Terry. Taking a look at 7 furlongs on the track so far at Aqueduct. You've had 37 races, Terry, 28 of which were won by speed. 15 of those horses went wire to wire, Terry, and you have a slight inside to out post position bias. So you're starting with the outside horse, the 6 horse. Tell us why.
Yeah, I like Solid Tune. Ran second versus similar on the turf last race, and was only beaten like a nose, and that was a mile race. Now he's returning to the dirt, so I think that's going to help. And the other thing is that cutting back to 7 furlongs, that may also help. The trainer wins 37% of the races when he uses Lasix for the second time. Then I like number 5, Affilada. Affilada?
I would say Affilida.
Yeah, Affilada. They named these horses.
Affilada. Let's go with Affilada.
All right.
Terry.
All right. Well, ran third in his last race at Aqueduct and received the highest last speed rating. Dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. They added Lasix today. Trainer has a record in the last 14 days of 3 wins out of 9 starts. And then number 1, Sweet Surprise, drops in class today. Jockey Dylan Davis is in his last 7 days, has won 8 out of 25 races, and they add Lasix to this one. And then number 3, Silatic, can improve while returning to dirt. Drops in class today. The trainer wins 27% of the time when he takes his horse from a maiden to a maiden claiming. And this one also is getting Lasix added.
So I'm starting with Affilida. I would say Philida. So Affilida. It's got some of the fastest opening fractions in here. Last time out, the horse was the top last race speed figure. You have trainer Robert Falcone with a beaten favorite, does respond at 19% of the time to follow up with a win. Number 3, I moved up, Terry, because only 2 horses really have experience in this race on and off track. And Sealithic ran its best race on and off track, showed some early speed, 2 back on dirt, gets Lasix. And then Trevor, who was on the show last night, just coincidentally, looking at the meet statistics so far, he's the top jockey right now at Aqueduct, finishing in the money. So he's got the top horse with the mud, knows how to get it into the winner circle. Solid Tune, Terry, does have the top early pace numbers by a wide margin. Kendrick Kermouche is a second right now in sprint wins at Aqueduct. So you got a good horse that fits his style. Workout stints are just okay, but that one trip on an off track, Terry, was its worst race. So I don't know if maybe it's just doesn't like the slop. We'll see. So I downgraded it. Actually was a little higher in my initial rankings. Number 1, Sweet Surprise, or number 4, Ravalantina has that bullet work and go. So this was a 50-50 for me on the back end. But when I was doing my research on number 4, our Valentina, that horse, his papa was a little bit more of a mid-pack stalker type than a speed type. So I went with the one horse then who has the fastest fractions that any horse in this field has been able to produce in their race, has the top pedigree, getting that first-time Lasix, and with that speed, Terry, top pedigree and dropping from $80,000 to $48,000. So a pretty good mix there. Race number 2, Terry, it moves back a half a furlong to 6.5 furlongs. It is a claiming $25,000, non-winners of 3 lifetime, Terry, for 4-year-olds and up, purse of $37,000, Terry. And it's 6.5 furlongs, 28 races, 19 won by speed, Terry. 11 have gone wire to wire. You have the post position. The rail has done well. 4 through 7 have done well. And all the other ones, about half of those 5 spots. This race is loaded with some experience with horses that have been on and off track.
Yeah, that's true. So I like number 4, Irish Giant. Ran third in last race at Aqueduct, and this horse is owned and trained by Linda Rice. The trainer wins 21% of the time. First race after a claim, and this horse likes the off track. It's been in the money twice, won one of those races. And then I like number 5, Great Workout. Won last race at Aqueduct. and completed the highest race speed rating. And then I like the trainer then is 37% with claim repeaters. And then I like number 6, Demo Doctor, ran second versus similar in his last race at Aqueduct. And then number 1, Conformist, finished third in a similar race, last race against similar horses. Decent workout on December 21st.
I'm starting with the great workout, Terry. 3 consecutive speed figure increases, and trainer Rob Atras is taking this horse first time to the track after claiming it. Appears to have learned really well from Robertino Diodoro, because I think he was working for Robertino before he went on his own. 37% claim repeater, Terry. So that's a pretty strong number there. And that's something I noticed like Robertino's pretty good at too. The horse is 2 for 3 at Aqueduct and 0 for 4 elsewhere. Doesn't have really a workout on a trip across an off track. So I'm not quite sure what to get there. Number 6, Demo Doctor, Terry. Now this horse does have a lot of experience on an off track. Also showed some of the fastest early fractions last time out. Again, Trevor McCarthy with his ability to get horses into the money. Number 1, Irish Giant. Again, green light here on an off track, Terry. As you mentioned, Linda Rice, owner, trainer. This horse is 21% off the claim angle for her. So first time out for Linda Rice. I don't know that's going to be part of the early picture, Terry, but it does have a big late pace advantage. So Irish Giant should be making giant strides late. And finally, number 4, Prince James, getting a weight break with early speed. Has the top pedigree for the distance, Terry. Taking a small drop and does show the absolute best early pace numbers in the field. I was a little worried about the 2 in here too, Conformist, Terry, because it's another one that's done really well on an off track and has performed pretty well at Aqueduct as well. Race number 3, Terry, is 1 mile, and 1 mile at Aqueduct is more of a sprint than it is a route, because it's just a 1-turn mile, Terry.
Yeah.
It's a claiming 16,000, non-winners of 2 lifetime, $28,000 purse for fillies and mares 4 years old and up that have never won 2 races, obviously, right? And looking at 1 mile, and there's going to be, I think, like 3 or 4 races in a row, coming up. But there's a lot of races on these 1-turn miles. 67 races, Terry, 51 by speed, so a heavy speed bias. 20 of the 67, a big number, have gone wire to wire. It looks to me like it's fair from 2+, from the second post position and out. And there's a slight disadvantage, Terry, to being on the rail. I wonder why that is. I should have asked Trevor about that last night.
Yeah.
You like number 6. Well, we have 6, 1, 2. Our first 3 picks are exactly the same. The only one we differ on is the last horse. Why do you like the 7?
I like the 7 because it has the highest last speed race speed rating, and could improve returning to dirt, drops in class today.
Well, I like the 3-horse Game Theory because there's, I think, some speed in this race, and some of them will be closing at the end. There always is one coming in at the end. And number 3, Game Theory, has the top late pace numbers by a wide margin, and it's taking a tiny drop in class. So you got the first 3 horses. Do you tell them why you like the 6, the 1, and the 2, Terry? And then I'll just fill in maybe a little details to why I like them.
Okay. Well, number 6, Hey, It's Tite. Finished third versus tougher in last race and drops in class today. The trainer wins 38% of the time when going from a sprint to route. And then number 1, Big Tony Squirrel, finished second versus similar in the last race. Tries 1 mile for the first time, which I think will work out for her. And then number 2, the Glenmore, has not raced in more than 8 months, but has decent workouts for her return to the races. Drops in class today. The trainer jockey combo in the last 14 days have won 3 out of 9 races. And I like that was it. We've already talked about.
So for me, coming across here, Terry, I like Hey, It's Tati. It's ran the fastest opening fractions out of any horse in this field. Tied for the top early pace numbers. This horse is making its 3rd start off a layoff. And, I like cycles, Terry. So the last time the horse had a 3-race cycle, it was the best race in the combo. Big Tony's Girl is the only one in this race that's shown a little bit of love for the mud. It is a Denzel Washington horse, spends a lot of time around the winner's circle, but not a whole lot of time in it. 3 consecutive speed figures, Terry, on the upward movement, so marching up that ladder. was well bet last time out, and owns the best early pace, late pace combo. So should be able to string together a good race from beginning to end. And then the Glenmore Terry has the top pedigree, ran some of the fastest fractions last time out, owns the top early pace numbers, Terry, and is taking the biggest drop in the field from $41,000 purse to $28,000 purse.
Mm-hmm.
Race number 4, Terry, we move to a different distance once again. This one's 6 furlongs. It is the maiden claiming $20,000 for maidens, 4-year-olds and up, Terry, with a $20,000 purse. How do you like race number 4? This is, by the way, let me hold on. I'll go here. I'm sorry, because this is my box it up, Terry.
It is, yes.
So there's a lot of good odds in this race, Terry. And what's interesting to me here is I have a horse on the very top that you don't even have in your picks. The one horse. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The last time that happened, Terry, it was a good thing because it actually won the race.
That's true.
So Motion to Strike, the one horse, Terry, has a huge early pace advantage over the rest of the field. My only concern is that they go out too fast. Sometimes you see horses that 6 furlongs tough to do, though. Has the top pedigree, Terry, for the field and owns some of the best fractions last time out. Number 4, Romantic Man, Terry. Don't we all believe that's true? Yes. Has the top last race speed figure, which was greater than par for this distance, and owns some fast fractions in the last time, too. Number 8, Tough Workout, Terry, was rated higher for me. But this one's got a red light as well on the off track, Terry, despite the fact that it does have some fast early fractions, is making its second start off the bench. Resume is kind of spotty on that. Some good afterwards, some not so good second time off the bench. But the bullet work in between this race and the last race tells me that Tough Workout should be sharp. And then finally, Terry, number 3, another horse that you don't have in your picks, Mr. JT. 3 consecutive speed figure increases, Terry. Beaten favorite last time out, getting a weight break with the bug, Alyssa Morrison on there, who is actually the top in the money jockey at the track right now, Terry.
Oh, that's pretty neat. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah. Well, as you can see, this is a really wide open race as far as I'm concerned. I like number 4, Romantic Man. Ran second versus similar in his last race and only lost by a nose. And she earned the highest last race speeding doing it. She has the highest speed figure at today's distance. And then number 8, Tough Workout, finished third in its last race. Has the highest high winning percent trainer. And decent workout on January 11th, was the 5th out of 26 workouts that day. I think number 2, my cousin Rich, drops in class today. Jockey in the last 7 days have finished in the money 5 out of 12 races and won 3 of those. And then I like number 6, We Ready, finished third in versus Tougher in her last race, drops in class today, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters.
Indeed, Terry. Finally, let's move on to race number 5. This is your best bet, Terry.
It is.
The day. Why is the 4 horse your best bet?
Well, the 4 Dancing Kiki likes the track and the distance. It has the highest last speed rating, drops in class today, and should improve with the shorter distance. And then I like number 5, Honey Money, ran second in her last race and has the best speed among today's starters, dirt speed. And she has a decent workout. And then number 6, Epona's Dream. Jockey in the last 7 days has a record of 8 wins out of 25 starts. And then she has a sharp workout on January 14th. And then number 1, BB's Busted, stumbled at the start and was wide in her last race. So you kind of throw that out. Has the highest speed figure at today's distance and the best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters, actually tied.
So looking at this race today, Terry, it's a 1 mile. Again, there's a bunch of them at a mile today. 67 of them, 51 by speed, 20 wire to wire. You have a slight disadvantage on the rail. Everything else plays okay. 4 horses in this race that have done some work on off track already. I gave a yellow light to Dancing Kiki, who owns the top pedigree. It's the only horse in the field that's dropping, which is coming down from a $250,000 race to a $74,000 race. It's tied for the top early pace figure, so I expect Dancing Kiki to be around the front. Honey Money is the one that's most likely to string together a good race from beginning to end because she has the top early pace and late pace combination. And in the early pace can really get up and go because does own the fastest quarter mile fraction out of anybody in this field and has back-to-back kind of real quick turnaround workouts. So I see those as kind of maintenance and fitness workouts. Frost Me and Choose Happiness, they're both green lighted, Terry, the 3 and the 2 on the off track. Frost Me is the third horse is making a second start off a layoff and should be better because it has a bullet workout in between the last race and this one and showed some really good early pace last time out. And then Choose Happiness, Terry, chooses to make its runs late because does have some strong late pace numbers, but has an ability to get going early on too, like it did last time out. And then it's in the money 5 of 8 at Aqueduct. So it's done a really good a lot of work at the New York track, Terry. So race 5 finishes up the first pick 4 of the day, which is they paid 175,000. Yeah. So let's talk about the our hot dog picks for the day, Terry. The starts in race number 2. We both went 2-3-3-2, Terry.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I like in the second race, I liked 4-5, which is the first leg of the pick 4. And then in the third race, I liked the 6-1-2. The fourth race, the 4-8-2. And the fifth race, I liked the 4-5.
You like the 4 and the 5. For me, I went with the 5 and the 6, Terry, to get started on that end. That was my picks there. I went with the 6, 1, and 2 in race number 3, as long as we got that right? Because sometimes we confuse races 1 and 2, right? Depending on when they start. Race 4, 1, 4, and 8, and race number 5, 4 and 5. And the race 5 is that connector leg, Terry, right? That death leg, if you will, right?
Yeah.
In soccer, they say that there's the group of death, right? So you have wrong button here. Hold on a second. The group of deaths in the World Cup where all the good teams are kind of stacked into that one area, Terry. Mm-hmm. And the this is the group of death because if you don't hit that one right, Terry, this middle one, then you're absolutely in trouble, right?
Yeah, you are, because it starts to pick 4 at the end there.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to bring up real quick a couple of things before we move on to the next race. We're, I think, 795 subscribers on YouTube, Terry. So if you're on YouTube right now and you haven't subscribed, please do so. And then go over to Facebook and let us know that you did, or on Twitter at Horse Race Today. Once we hit 800, which should be any minute now, a random person will be selected. I think Sean says he's going to announce it tonight on the Players Edge podcast with jockey Aubrey Green. She's got quite a story. You'll be able to read about that momentarily over on horseracingtoday.net. I'm working on that Q&A before we got started here. So make sure you go over and check that out. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Give us a thumbs up because that helps us with the algorithms. There you can see Justified coming home in a slop at Churchill Downs, Terry.
Yeah.
So speaking of coming home in the slop, for race number 5, for race number 6, Terry, who do you start off race number 6 with?
Okay, I start with number 5, Roman Empire. Has a high percentage winning trainer. She has the highest last race speed rating. She drops in class today, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like number 1, Mandatory Payout. Finished third versus similar in her last race. The trainer wins 17% on the third race after a layoff. And then number 2, Super John, drops in class today. The trainer wins 22% of the time when shipping a horse in to race. And then she has the highest speed figure at today's distance. And then I like number 4, It's Mandatory. Ran second versus similar in the last race. And her speed rating is increasing each of the last 5 races.
5 consecutive speed figure increases indeed for It's Mandatory, who was my 4th pick and showed much improved fractions last time out, Terry, and owns the number 1 late pace. So that horse looks to me like it's on the upswing for sure. I agree with you. I like Roman Empire as my top pick. One of my favorite combinations, Terry, top last race speed figure on the drop. It's going from $45,000 to $37,000 purse. That ran much better fractions last time out, and this time is the 3rd time off the bench, so that walk up the ladder should continue. Number 8 is Famished, Terry. 3rd off a layoff, bullet work in between this race and the last race. The horse owns the top pedigree, And last time out, it improved in all levels of the race. So the early part of the race, the mid-pace part of the race, and the late pace numbers all showed improvements. So that's a horse, again, that's moving up that class, up the performance ladder. The number 2, Super John, is taking the biggest drop in the field. Terry, last time out ran for $104,000. This time running for just 37. So does have a pretty good record at the distance, Terry. 6 times out of the track, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third at the distance. Only problem is it's been off since May. But the last time the horse was on an extended break, it came back to run second. I think it actually had the lead in the stretch and kind of tired late. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Super John run that same sort of race this time, get out towards the front, and then find its way just, a little bit tired and going to need one. Next time out is probably the time you want to circle that horse for in your horse watch over at DRF.
Yeah, sounds.
So the next horse, let's see, Super John, race 6, Great Mud Sire Super Saver. There you go. Thanks, Jack. It is definitely muddy out there today. So this next race coming up, Terry, race 7 is my best bet, and it is your box it up. And so that means you're going to absolutely hit that one first pick there, Terry, because those best bets, I think I've only missed one so far out of the money, and I've had about 50% of them win.
Yeah, you've done very well. So anyway,
I didn't know yesterday's was going to go from a 3-1 morning line to 2-5, though. I knew it was going to come down in odds, but how do you predict that?
Oh yeah, you just don't know. You just don't know how it's going to do. I think the last time I had my best bet win was the day before, paid under $3 too. So anyway, in this 7th race for my box it up, I actually like number 5, My Roxy Girl, ran second in her last race. The trainer wins 21% of the time on the first race after a claim. She has the best dirt speed among today's starters. Then I like number 7, Timed Out. Won 2 out of her last 3 races, including winning her last race at Aqueduct. She has a high percentage winning trainer and drops in class today. And then number 9, Madeira, finished 3rd versus similar in the last race at Aqueduct. She likes Aqueduct as she's finished in the money 100% of the time there and won 2 races. And then number 6, Primacy, has finished 4 out of 5 races in the money in 2021. The trainer in our last 14 days has a record of 9 starts, 3 wins, a second, and a third.
Yes, and the box it up is a $1 exacta box with the 4 horses, a 50-cent trifecta box, and a 10-cent superfecta box. Terry, yesterday I managed to get mine. If you would have just boxed yours up one race later, you would have had this, because same race, you had this in ice cold order, Terry. And that 10-cent superfecta paid, I think, $28.20, something like that.
Yeah.
So today, let's see if we can't do the same. I think in total, the box it up yesterday paid about $100 for the 25 using those 3 things. So I'll take that all day long, every day. Where else, Terry, can you do like Terry? And as you mentioned, go ahead and turn 25 into 100 in a minute and a half.
That's right.
Race number 7, Terry, is 7 furlongs, 37 races, 28 won by speed, 15 wire to wire. Again, we talk about a slight inside to outside bias. And I agree with you, Terry, that the 5 horse, My Roxy Girl, of all the horses on the course today, I feel like My Roxy Girl is the one that everything is working to its advantage. Loves the slop, in the money, 19-27 at Aqueduct, has the top early pace figures, tied for the top early pace, late pace combination. And then you got Linda Rice, first time off a claim, 21% winner. I agree with Tom. Madeira at Aqueduct, 5 times in the money, 100% of the time. 5 times at an off track, 2 times with a win, a second and a third. Showed some of the fastest opening fractions last time out. Gets a weight break. We talked about Alyssa Morrison, the apprentice jockey, who's leading in the money right now at Aqueduct. So you got to like that. Number 7, Timed Out, Terry, is a horse that's tied for the top late pace figures. Ran well, fresh last time, fastest or a quarter mile fractions that any horse has ever put out there. And more moonshine. And number 3 horse is another one that's pretty solid on the off track. It was a tough call between that and the 6 horse Primacy. I think I actually had Primacy ranked a little bit higher through the initial wave run through the numbers. But when I went back and looked at the the performance on an off track, I decided to go ahead and move more moonshine up. That brings us to the last race of the day, Terry. 6 furlongs, Terry. 80 races. Of the 80 races, 56 were won by speed. That's the speed bias, my friend. 28 of 80 going wire to wire. And no matter where you break, the post positions play fair. So you don't have to worry about getting an outside post, if that's going to work or not work in this maiden claiming $40,000 race. How are you going to close the show, Terry?
Well, listen, I think this is the most wide open race of all. But I start out with number 1, Gimme the Money. And it's got Trevor McCarthy, our guest from last night, in the irons. And he lost all chance of winning last time when he was bumped at the start. He drops in class today. His best dirt speed is the fastest among today's starters, and Lasix is added today. And then I like number 8, Bow in the Back. Did not apparently like the mud and ran a disappointing race. So I don't know how it's going to do today, but we'll see. Drops in class today and should improve while returning to a sprint. Has a good workout on January 14th. And then I like number 2, Walk the Bank. The breeding suits today's sprint distance. Kendrick Camus is in the irons. And then I like number 6, John's Electric Ride. And breeding suits today's sprint distance. The jockey in the last 7 days has won 3 out of 12 races.
So the 2 horses in the front, this is one of those races, Terry, where you have some experienced horses, most of which were not well bet in any of their races so far. So the bettors didn't really like them very much on the debut or post debut. And then you have, I think, 3 or 4 first-time starters. And the first-time starters, only one of them really has a bullet work, and that's the 6 horse, John's Electric Ride, which is my 3rd selection in here. But I do feel like one of those first-time starters, whether it be the 6, the 7, or the 2, one of them is going to make noise, Terry. Walk the Bank has Kendrick, I think, who likes the aggressive ride, might get that horse out to the front. But I'm going to start with Give Me the Money on the top. Of the horses that have raced, does have the best early and late pace combo, should be able to string together a solid effort from beginning to end. Is getting some first-time Lasix, Terry, with a little bit of back speed in the past performances. So I do like that. And I also like the fact that it's taken the Tom Carley drop, that maiden special weight to maiden claiming, from $75,000 to $40,000. That class relief, the early speed, the combo of early pace, late pace should help. And I think if it runs its race, Terry, it could make easy work of this field. But I don't know to what degree the first-time starters are going to impact the outcome. Number 3, Wild Carp Diem, Terry, tied for the top early pace numbers. Another one taking the Tom Carley drop from $70,000 to $40,000. John's Electric Ride, Terry, as I mentioned, does have the bullet and go on the debut. So that's when the last workout right before they head to the track is a bullet. And then finally, number 7, Crosta BC. I took over Walk the Bank because of the pedigree. The pedigree is a little bit better for Crostada BC than it is for Walk the Bank. And on that, that's how I did that. The number 2 and the number 9, these were all horses I was considering at the end. So it was definitely interested. Let's see. First-time starters both are bred off the track. Number 7, Crostada BC. And then you have John's Electric Ride, more turf on the dam side, but Sire made good efforts on off tracks. Well, I also think, Tom, from my experience, horses that can run well on the turf tend to run okay on the sloppy stuff too, because we've heard from jockeys that it's not a bad, and it's just empirical for me, empirical and anecdotal at the same time from what I've seen. So you have the late prime rib pick 4 ending here, as I mentioned, Terry. We both structured our tickets a little bit differently than we normally do. So tell us why you structured yours this way.
Well, I like in that first leg, the 5th race, I like the 4, 5, 6, 1. In the second leg, I like the 1, 2, 4, and 5. And in the third leg, I used the 5 and the 7. I think it's probably the one that going to be the easiest to get. And then the last leg, I was really concerned about how wide open this race was, and so I used the 1, 8, 2, 6, 3, and 10.
Well, for me, Terry, I felt like the first leg, any of those horses could hit. And the next leg, the 7 horse and the 4 horse were 50-50s to me. I lost on a 50-50 yesterday. I decided I'm not going to lose on a 50-50 today, my friend. And the race number 7, I don't know why I didn't put the race numbers next to yours, but you can see them next to mine. I really do feel like the 5 horse is the one to beat here. I was really thinking about squeezing these down, but on an off track, you just never know. And then I really do feel like the 1 horse and the 3 horse probably have the best chance. And I do like that bullet and go from the 6 horse. I do agree with you, Terry, that last leg is wide open. So I had to take a stand somewhere. I took a stand with the 2 horses that have experience that I felt were the best 2. And then the one that had the best workouts off the first time starters to close it out. That's how I constructed that ticket. So real quick, let's take a look at all the picks again, Terry. And then, well, before they do that, Terry, I don't know. Did you get a chance to, well, let's do this, Terry. Let's do your best bet of the day now, Terry. Yesterday, how did your best bet do?
Okay, my best bet yesterday actually won. Divine Huntress at Parks in the 8th race, number 5, won and paid 380, 220, and 210. My second pick, number 7, Collins Great Lady, was running a really good race, and in the turn, something happened. The jockey pulled that horse up. And then number 6, Burano, was my third pick, ran second, paid 360 and 260, so the exacta paid 940. So it was a pretty good day. So for today, you ready for this?
We're ready for this. Are you ready for this? You're gonna break into that song for us, Terry?
That's right. Are you ready for this? Gulfstream Park, the 4th race. I like Tone Feeling. Won his last race at Gulfstream Park at today's distance. Vasquez rode him in that last race and returns today and comes back to repeat that performance. Then I like number 4, One Eyed Jack. He won his last race at Gulfstream Park and likes Gulfstream Park, finishing the money 6 out of 12 races and won 3 of those races. Then I like number 6, Old Time Revival. Ran in the slop last race and had plenty of trouble finishing a disappointing 6th. So I kind of would throw that out. The race before that, he won it easily at today's class level.
Fantastic. So you can always catch Terry's best bet of the day. He will not be here tomorrow because I will be sharing the stage with Tom, International Tom. I don't know what his moniker will be tomorrow. Maybe he'll let us know up on the screen if he's got any long shots or if he's searching for a winner, Tom, or he's Muddy Winner, Tom, or he's, I don't know who I am today, Tom. But we're going to be at Shay Tin over in Hong Kong that is surrounded by the apartment buildings. So if you want to go apartment looking, go to Shay Tin. And then in between looking at apartments, you can look at horses. Tom and I have been lighting it up internationally lately over at Australia. For some reason, we decided to go to Hong Kong and not stay where the cooking's been good. But hey, what the hell? So make sure you check that out tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern here on Horse Racing Radar TV. And then one other thing, Terry, did you catch the piece by Maddie over at horseracingtoday.net where she defends in defensive horse racing? She works as one of the training riders, and she talks about, horse racing and how it goes to impact so many different lives.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked the article. So,
So if you haven't caught that, you can find the links to that on our social sites at Horse Race Today. Both Twitter handle and Facebook. Like us, support us by giving us thumbs up, retweeting, that sort of stuff. Give us a subscription here. Follow us on YouTube channel. Again, once we get to 800, we'll be giving out. So Golden 60 is running, he says, and he's going to be all Group 1 races, but he doesn't have a name for tomorrow yet. So we'll be looking forward to that. Any final thoughts before we get up and out of here today, Terry?
Well, I just hope everybody does really good today in betting on the horses, if that's what you're doing. And I'm hoping everybody has a good day, and I plan on having a good day. I'm going to be pretty busy, so it's always a good day when you're busy. And I hope that all my colleagues have a great time today, and everybody stay safe.
And of course, tonight, again, we're going to have Aubrey Green, jockey from Fairgrounds, to come on the show to discuss her life, her career, and then some races this Saturday at the Fairgrounds. Terry and I will be back Saturday to go over some of the stakes races. There's some at Aqueduct, a few more at Fairgrounds that we haven't covered, one at Oaklawn Park. So we haven't quite finalized the roster up, but we'll have probably about 5 races. We've done pretty well on the stakes races as well. And then, of course, Tom and I tomorrow. Until then, everybody, we hope that your day is a fantastic Thursday and that all of your picks end up in the
winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic Thursday.